Okay, recording this video after close trade Monday, 7th of May 2012. What an extraordinary 12 hours or so. The daily chart just doesn't give this justice at all. Just looks like we had a 10-11 point range day today with 1.2 million contracts traded, but this is what really happened. If you go to the 40,500 tip bar chart, this is where we ended on Friday, and then Sunday evening with all of the announcements out of Europe, out of Greece, out of France, we just sold off. I think the low here is about 42, so it was a huge kind of sell down move. I thought we'd get a little bit of strength. I'll show you why I thought we were going to get some strength, and then we kind of bounced up today. And this is during the day session. We only had this little piece of it here, which is about 11 points, kind of top to bottom. The reason for seeing a bounce is on the 4,500 on Friday we had pullback, and then with that overnight activity we had end of trend kind of confirmed with exhaustion selling. This was a huge reading on better momentum kind of down here, and that's where we bounced from there, and we had this huge rally after that kind of initial sell-off, which kind of continued into today's session, then pull back to end of trend. And because this didn't really kind of turned around by 11 o'clock in the morning, it just kind of got going, kept going a little bit, and just kind of wilted by the end of the day. But so this is this pullback and end of trend on the 4,500 tip bar chart, and this has moved back up to the pullback in a downtrend level on the next time frame up, 13,500, which is where I said we'd kind of find some resistance and be a good place to get the next kind of big short entry. So that's what I think is going to happen tomorrow. It's kind of interesting. A lot of the charts kind of turned around. A lot of the risk-on charts have looked kind of strong with the spike down that we had today, but it was pretty small volume. Kind of technical stuff taking profits at these kind of extreme levels, but I think we'd need to get ready for this next move down, and the reason for that is on these time frames. We're still in a downtrend on the 45-minute chart, broken below support. We've not put in our pullback to end of trend here on this time frame, so we've got to make that trend move, and we're sitting right at this kind of 1350 type level, which is absolutely key. Again, because this is just showing the daily data, today's bar just doesn't show that activity. We got down to 42 here and recovered all the way back in to the zone here, the kind of congestion zone. So this level, I mean, I think we're going to break it, and I think we're going to have a really strong trend move. So when that happens, if it's tomorrow or the next day, I think it'll be sometime during this week. And watch out, that'll be one of those 3% kind of down days during the day that is a big kind of payoff day. So it's worth watching for that. In terms of my trading today, so just show you that move on the 1500 tip bar chart. I mean, there it was on the Sunday evening, had all these Rambo patterns down here, pull back to end of trend on the 1500 tip bar chart, which is kind of useful for trend direction. Remember that after you've seen kind of first divergent signals, completion of a trend move in terms of price with that end of trend signal down there, and we race off to the upside here. So at the end of this move, I was trying to pick off this kind of pullback to end of trend, but my entry was a little bit weak. It was 64.25, which was around these amateur patterns. It was actually around a support level on the 500 tip bar chart, but we just kind of pushed past it, and then by the time we made end of trend, I thought we might poke through, run some stops or whatever. It was kind of too late. We kind of reversed the other way. So on that first trade I actually lost 3/4 of a point, but then kind of got short immediately, 63.50. Nicely went my way initially, and this kind of selling down volume was kind of showing the weakness in that selling down volume here. Had to sit through a little bit of a test back up. It was amateur up bars though into that test back up, which is nice little kind of confirmation signal, and then down we went to 1360. I stretched out my target at 58.5, but didn't even get there. Didn't even get to, I think it might have touched 59.50, but I got out at 60.50 just for 3 points here. And the reason for that was, I talk about this in the videos. I think I'll attach that one today. All the blue professional bars that came in on the 1500 tip bar chart, the move slowed down incredibly at this point here, and you got a triple Rambo pattern here. So we got Rambo on the 1500 tip bar chart. It was a Rambo pattern here, two amateur bars and a Rambo pattern on the 4500 tip bar chart. On the 500 tip bar chart, let me just see if I can find this turning point here. Yeah, so this was a sell-off, and all these blue professional bars that kind of came in, and then we had Rambo pattern, this little spike down. You can see the selling was really weak at bullish divergence at that point there, and when we just took off to the upside. And then here's a little gathering pattern, 3 or 4 little blue professional bars just sat underneath resistance, waiting for jumping the creek here, and kind of got going to the upside. So I took a long trade at 61.75 and got out at 64.25 just for 2.5, just to gave me 4 3/4 points. That was kind of a nice move. Tried to get long again at 64.50, I think, just after this move. It's just under here, but just got out at par because I thought it might break. It didn't. Actually, what we did is we kind of came back and then kind of made that final exhaustion move. So on the 1500 tip bar chart, we kind of exhausted here. Bearish divergence, amateur bars at the highs, bearish divergence, bang, we kind of sold off. So, and we're below cyclical support here on the 1500 tip bar chart. So I think we're kind of in a downtrend. So there we go. Just expecting weakness, and at some point we'll break 50. And then that 42 kind of level is kind of key. So I think this week's going to be really, really interesting. Hope you traded well today.
Reverse went short 63.50, short 63.50, and reason for getting short, end of trend's gone off on the 1500 tip bar chart. Thought this might just make back up. 365s didn't, just reverse went the other way. So 3/4 point loss on that first one. Shame, the entry was pretty poor. Could have got in a little bit lower here on around this kind of turnaround, but didn't know that this pullback level wasn't going to work out. So let's see, end of trend's gone off. We got exhaustion buying, bearish divergence, first kind of rush for the doors, come back up, blue professional bar right at the highs there and just rolled over. So and that should be coinciding with cyclical turn on 13,500. It's pullback in a downtrend level, which we're early on that. So let's see. Here we go. We're down at 62s. Coming to a flush pattern kind of down here, and a cyclical support, but no blue professional bars on the way down. In fact, had one here. Okay, blue professional bar on 1500, but this should run. Now we got kind of the energy kind of. I mean, this was a strong move, quickly down to 62s. So. Hopefully we'll break that low and kind of go into a little bit of a trend move below support on 500 tip bar chart. Maybe bounce 59, targets at 50, bounce at 58 here, kind of at support, but targets at 59.50 at the moment. I might squeeze that out. Yeah, let's do that now. So let's change that to 58.50. See if we get a break. Okay, a little bit of a bounce. Cyclical resistance kind of coming. Would have been nice to see some amateur up bars here. We didn't, so we're back down at entry point. So we got cyclical resistance come in. This is the bullish divergence in the wrong place to kind of stop a move. So I'm guessing this is just the the beginning of this kind of down move. It's just ran out of energy kind of briefly, but if we get through 62s again, it'll run. That's what I wanted to see. Amateur bar, Rambo pattern, 65, perfect. So it just shows amateurs kind of buying that, kind of test. Getting wrong-footed would go the other way now. So that's in the right spot, which means this support is potentially, it's an important area we might kind of break through. So let's go 63.50s. Okay, blue professional bar, 500 tip bar chart. We've just fallen below the lows of that. So we came back up to this Rambo again. 65 got rejected, kind of swinging down the other way. Now we're going to 62s. So we know 62 is going to be critical, kind of here. Looks like this has failed on the 1500 tip bar chart. This support level is about to fail. So it's kind of good for a swing down. Here we go. Targets at 58.50, just above this resistance, support, resistance becomes support potentially. Okay, Rambo pattern into 62s, so might get a little bit of a bounce there. Kind of everybody knows that level there. We've touched it a couple of times. So what was the low here? 61.75, 62s. So we're at 62s, so there'll be a bunch of stops kind of sit here again. The swing down on 1500 tip bar charts just kind of come in, so we'll add some downside energy now on the 1500 tip bar chart, so hopefully this will be a decent sized swing. We just broke into 60s here and just kind of bounced back to 61s. I think we're going to fail. We've got support now on 1500 and 500. There's no bullish divergence patterns to kind of catch us here. So here we go, breaking down to 60s. So hopefully we'll get a rush through 59s. We just continue to kind of creep lower at 16.25 Rambo pattern kind of down here. Bullish divergence kind of gone off on 1500 tip bar chart, but we're below support on these two time frames, and we're certainly below on here, so it's funny, it's just kind of creeping. I'd have thought we'd have finally got a little bit of kind of a burst of selling down. So okay, here we go. We just had a little punch back up to 61, but cyclical energy will start to go away again. We're coming down. Here we go, 60s. Okay, let's break these lows, have a little bit of a run to 58s, please. Well, Rambo patterns just went off on the 500, 1500. So push down was kind of an amateur down bar. Got these bullish divergence patterns kind of in here, but we're below support. And Rambo pattern here coming into here. Let's just wait for one little push down. Maybe exit. Just it's gone so slow and quiet here. I'm just, my initial target was 59.5 and kind of 60.50 for 3 out at 60.50. So the reason for getting out, just Rambo patterns all over the show. Here and here, and we had all these blue professional bars kind of come into the lows here. Just slowed down, never kind of cracked into a really strong trending move. Rambo patterns testing, all these bullish divergence patterns started to come in. We've got resistance becomes support. It's kind of near where the open was today, so technically an important point, and then potentially 4500 tip bar chart kind of reversing going the other way. So no, 3 points on that, loss of 3/4 point on the first trade. So what to do? Just watch and see if something kind of shows up.